another edition of the Morning View. What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to United View. Welcome back to another edition of the Morning View. And this morning, we're going to be talking about midfielders. Now, we spoke about this a little bit last night, but Fabrizio Romano has been saying that Manchester United, he said, will sign a midfielder in January. Well, this morning, we have a bit more of an update on Carlos Baleba and his stance on a move to Manchester United. Brighton's stance on a possible Baleba transfer to Manchester United. Could it happen as soon as January? Well, maybe Manchester United might be on the lookout. They might be available and ready to pounce on a deal if it does present itself in January. Or are Manchester United going to look at possibly another option to get themselves to the summer? Are Manchester United going to have a look on the loan market? Are they going to have a look for your likes of your Conor Gallagher's, who we did go after at the end of the transfer window in the summer, but were told by Atletico Madrid, no, permanent only. Could Manchester United be looking for a similar kind of move? We're going to be talking about that. Plus, Andre Onana, someone who was central to his departure from Manchester United, seemingly was the Manchester United head coach himself, Ruben Amorim. He made his decision very clear, and we got the very latest as Onana set to travel to Turkey on Thursday, KG's favourite day, Thursday, for his medical to seal that loan move to Trabzonspor. So big up to everyone. Appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe as this whole screen just stops working because it's, that's the way it's going this morning. I've got something also. I come prepared this morning. I come prepared because we're going to be going back over the chronology. We're going to be going back. We're going to go back in the time machine. You know me. You always say, Owen, receipts and this, that, and the other. Well, UV Clips, one of my favorite channels, always keeping us accountable, keeping us honest. We're going to be going back this morning and having a look at the chronology that is KG that comedian and his experience with Andre Onana. Yeah, that's what we're going to be we're going to be watching that this morning because I watched it yesterday and I thought I've got to share this. I've got to share this with the community. But first, before we do so, you can see there in the sidebar, first this from Oxford Natural and how you can get Optimised. Roll VT.
Today's video is sponsored by our friends at Oxford Natural and their all-new natural supplement, Optimum Day and Night. Thousands across the UK, USA and beyond are smashing their health goals with Oxford Natural. Optimum Day gives you steady energy, curbs your cravings and keeps your metabolism firing all day. Optimum Night helps you relax, get restorative sleep, recover and keep burning fat while you rest. It's not a magic pill, but it will help you reach your health goals. Check out some of the incredible results. Two of our own. OWEN lost over 100 pounds in 10 months and KG dropped 30 pounds in 4 months. In 8 months, football legend Michael Owen lost 35 pounds and Robbie from AFTV, Don Robbie, lost over 80 pounds. And in 6 months, Anita, an award-winning immigration lawyer, lost 44 pounds. And Linda, a law firm executive, lost over 50 pounds. No gimmicks, no needles, just results. Oxford Natural, let's get to work.
Yes, let's get to work indeed. If you wish to optimize, you can do so. You can click the link in the video description. It's also pinned in the chat, or you can scan the QR code, use the code UV, not as Flex always says, United View, UV, and you can subscribe and save up to 70% off. You can get your Optimum Daily, which is good for curbing hunger, trying to help you out with, not eating too much, not spiking your sugar levels, your insulin levels, or you can get your Optimum Night, which helps you get the rest and recovery, the sleep that you need. You can get a combination of both as well. It's a new and improved formula. Find out for yourselves. All the information's in the video description below. Right, let's talk about midfielders, because it feels like we move on very quickly, don't we, as Manchester United fans, right? We move on very quickly. We've goalkeeper, tick. New front three, tick. Defense, we weren't really thinking about that much, were we? So we're on to midfielders. Now, we've had a very successful, I think, summer window, but it wasn't perfect because many are pointing to that midfield scenario and saying that might cost us in this season. That could be the difference between us maybe qualifying for the Champions League or qualifying for Europe in general, right? Well, I've got a bit of an update on Carlos Baleba, of course, one player that we were looking at over the summer. And the following has been sort of, it's one of those sort of combination kind of reports from the Mirror, but they're also aggregating other outlets and other reports, who they say that Brighton star Carlos Baleba was reportedly, quote, very open to a move to Manchester United, even though the midfielder ended up not completing a switch to Old Trafford. The Red Devils failed to secure a central midfielder during the transfer window, having been heavily linked with signing Baleba for the majority of the summer. It continues on by saying Brighton quickly made it clear that Baleba wasn't on the market, placing a hefty £115 million price tag on the Cameroon international, a figure they previously received from Chelsea for Moises Caicedo, reports the Manchester Evening News. United promptly informed their Premier League counterparts that they would not be pursuing the deal, but their interest in the midfielder hasn't completely faded, even with the transfer window now shut. Continues on by saying the Athletic have reported that personal terms have already been agreed between Baleba and United in anticipation that a move could still happen in the future. Fabrizio Romano also suggests that the player remains a player of interest to United heading into 2026, and the club were pleased to discover that the Brighton star was keen on a move over the summer, despite the lack of European football on offer. Finally, it says it remains to be seen what United will have planned for their midfield revamp when the January transfer window opens. It seems unlikely that a move for Baleba could be possible in the middle of the season, and only time will tell if alternative targets emerge on the rumour mill between now and the end of the year. So it's a bit of an interesting one there. It's a bit of an interesting one. Of course, we know Baleba's stance on it is he wants Man United. You know what I mean? He wants to move to Manchester United. He wanted to move over the summer. Why wouldn't he? But I think when you look at Manchester United's viewpoint, and this was kind of what James was saying the other day. This is kind of what James was alluding to, in that Man United are kind of keeping themselves ready, aren't they, for the possibility that, let's say in January, or as Robbie would say, January, Baleba and Brighton do decide, actually, yeah, we can do this deal now. We don't know. A lot can still happen. And I was thinking this about, we were talking about Cobby quite a lot on the red carpet last night, right? And talking about what's going to be the situation come the end of the season with Cobby. Like, oh, if he doesn't get selected for the England World Cup squad and this, that, and the other. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, as I sometimes do on that red carpet show, and I was thinking, well, when do the squads for the World Cup get announced? Was it around like May, June? When does the World Cup actually start? World Cup 2026 start date. It starts on Thursday, the 11th of June. So the squads are like end of May, start of June. End of May-ish. You get announced like 2 or 3 weeks before the start of the 2 or 3 weeks before the start of the tournament, don't they? Something like that. And I was thinking, well, a lot can happen in that time. That's still quite a way away, isn't it? You've still got a full football season, a full football calendar to play out before then. And who knows what Cobby's situation, and switching it back to Baleba, who knows what his situation will be. I remember 12 months ago, 18 months ago, when it was Evan Ferguson. It's a £100 million player, mate. He was a £100 million player when we were getting linked to him from Brighton, and it was, well, he's one for the future, but he's going to be the next big thing. £100 million, that's what it's got to be. And and I remember all the clubs were interested in. It wasn't just Man United. I think Chelsea were going after him and others. And he's not even at Brighton now. He's on loan. Ironically, he's at Roma. Right? So things can change very quickly in the space of, a year. So, I think when it comes to Baleba, we'll see. We'll see. In the beginning of this season, some have sort of said, oh, maybe, I know Brad's kind of referenced it last night on the red carpet, saying, oh, Baleba, has his head been turned? He hasn't started the season particularly great. There's a variety of different reasons for that. I mean, maybe speculation over his future hasn't helped. He also did miss a sizable portion of pre-season, didn't he? He missed a significant amount of time of pre-season, because when we were linked to him, the conspiracy started, didn't they, about he's not playing any of the Brighton games. And he's being left out of the team. That means he's coming to United. That's right. That's what it's going to be. He's coming back to United. And that wasn't the case. He just had an injury. So maybe he's just getting back up to fitness. Chris says here in the chat, Ferguson got injured, had surgery twice. He's on loan to get his fitness back, and it's working. Well, even with that goes to prove my point then, doesn't it? Is a lot can happen in the space of 12 months, 18 months, right? So when it comes to Baleba, I think the idea that, it's definitely not going to happen in January, who knows? Man United might feel like, hey, we were willing to do it a year earlier than anticipated. Why not do it 6 months earlier than anticipated? Depends where Man United are in the season. We might be doing really well. Brighton might not be doing too great, and they might go, you know what? We need to kind of cash in, and we need to get some funds in, and maybe we need to spend a little bit. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. It feels unlikely, doesn't it? Like I said last night, for me, I feel like if we're to do a midfield signing in January, I feel like it will be a loan. And I don't think that's a bad thing. KG did say, does this go back to the stopgaps, which we did for years? But a midfield loan in January to get you to the end of the season, that's not a stopgap in the same way that we would sign Edison Cavani, because we didn't really want to invest in a young striker for a long period of time. Or we would just go, we get him in for a year or two. We'll get him in for a year. That'll do. The sort of patchwork. That's not a patch. That is literally just explore the market. It can make a difference. It can be the difference between you, once again, qualifying for Europe or not. You look at someone like, I always go back to Marcel Sabitzer, because I think that was a really good January loan signing, right? Came in, scored a couple of goals, played in quite a lot of football matches for us. And there was an argument to be made, wasn't there, coming out of that season, that with the recruitment we did the following summer, that was the summer with Onana, Mount, and Højlund, two of which aren't here anymore, that maybe we should have kept Sabitzer. But if someone like that was available in January for us, take him on loan. Take him on loan. Why not? And that's just to get you to the end of the season. So I don't see a situation whereby United sort of purchase a midfielder for like 20 million. And we're like, well, we didn't really want him. But like, for instance, every time we get linked to Rabiot, how many times have we been linked to him at this point? From Juventus, from Marseille. Where did he end up at in the end? Was it AC Milan? Was it AC Milan he's ended up at in the end? If we ended up signing him, they go, it feels kind of stopgap-ish, that one. A loan, a little bit different, isn't it? So I suppose watch this space when it comes to January, right? Watch this space when it comes to the January window. I do think we're going to be more active than we have been in recent years. Obviously, historically, Manchester United don't always operate that much in the January window. We've made some very important and crucial signings in the January transfer window in the past. Obviously, talk about Bruno Fernandes. He comes in, even though the season gets suspended, he was integral in us getting Champions League when he came in January. You look at Evra Vidic, January transfer signings, not for a huge amount of money, but it very much depends. It very much depends. The January transfer window has been so interesting over the last few years, because was it a couple of years ago when Chelsea spent an astronomical amount of money in that January transfer window, which was the one where they signed Enzo Fernandez. And then was it last season? I forget. The last maybe couple of seasons, I forget which one it was. There wasn't as much spending in January because clubs were a bit concerned about PSR and, FFP. And there's a bit of, we're not really sure where the season's going to go. Maybe we got to take it steady, and you get then you suddenly start getting the weird transfers. Probably Chelsea will sell some more players to Strasbourg or Strasbourg, and then suddenly I don't know how that works. I still don't know how that works. But watch this space, and I think because of this, the sort of groundwork's already been set for the rumor mill, the transfer rumor mill, I think, to go into overdrive. Really, because we're now just going to be linked with loads of midfielders between now and January. Well, the end of Jan, depending on if we sign them. But between now and the end of January, oh my God, we're going to be linked with midfielders. Everyone you can possibly think of, we're going to be linked with midfielders. It's going to be crazy. If you haven't already clicked the like button, be sure to subscribe. As you can see right there in the top right-hand corner, we're less than 100 to go until 205,000 on the road to 250,000. 205 is not 250,000, of course. What are people saying here in the chat about what we're going to be doing in January? Super Arch says, always said we should have kept Sabitzer. He would have given us more output if he had a proper summer's training. What else are people saying here? Dwayne says, it's a very small chance of a loan or a signing in Jan. If we are doing well, they won't. If we are doing badly, they won't waste money. We would have to be on that bubble or have injuries for Ineos to act. I disagree on that, to be honest. I disagree. I would have agreed based on past evidence, yes. Yes, I would totally understand that, because under previous regimes, haven't really operated that much. Like he said, if we're not doing well, sometimes it's a case of like the Bruno one. Well, we've got to go get him. Sometimes if we've already written off the season, a bit like when Ralph Rangnick was in charge, or to an extent even last season, right, when they've written off the season and it's like, no, we'll figure it out in the summer. We'll do that. But I do think this time it is a little bit different, because I think with the exits that we had at the end of the window, I think there is space to spend. And I just don't think Man United can afford to write off another season. So if we're in a good space and we're doing all right, then I think it would be the right. I'm trying to think of the right word. Not perturb. Whatever. It would be the right thing to do for a bit more of investment to get us over the line. And if we're a little bit behind, then once again, it would be the right thing to do to invest to try and catch up, because we can't afford to write off another season. I mean, again, I think it's easier in hindsight to say, oh, we wrote off last season and we weren't really playing in the league because we were going after Europa League. But the season, I mean, our season was done in like November last year, really, wasn't it? Domestically. I know there was still you can go back and find them, the tweets that were like, we're only X amount of points off top four. But I think deep down, we all knew that we weren't going to be getting them last year. That season was fully written off and was just getting to the summer. That's why when the summer came, we were so thrilled. As probably the happiest I've seen the fan base be in about 12 months is when the season was over. And we were like, all right, we could look forward and focus on the transfer window. So I don't think we can afford to be writing the season off again. So if we're not doing great come January, then my goodness me, they've got to invest and make sure that they put more money into getting a midfielder or what have you. But whether or not they'll do that, we shall wait and see. Indeed. Where was, I think it was Show said, Show's sticking by this. He says, Sabitzer had 2 good games, Fulham and Sevilla, skews many fans thinking of his actual time here. I didn't think he was that bad. I mean, I can definitely recall me being one of the people that was like, don't activate the option, because at the time, it was like, well, we're going into a summer window. We had a good season. We won the Carabao Cup, hadn't we? And finished 3rd in the Prem. And it was like, oh, we can do better. The problem is we didn't. as is always the case with Manchester United, isn't it? Like we always say, it's not necessarily an issue about who you're selling. It's about who you're replacing them with. And even in the case of Sabitzer, whilst we didn't sell him, it was like, oh, we can do better. The problem is we didn't go get better, did we? Which we do a lot. De Gea, it's not necessarily the wrong decision to get rid of him. Who'd you replace him with? Andre Onana. That's the issue. That's the problem there. And we're going to talk about Onana in just a second. All Elite has been a member for 36 months. Look at all that support, All Elite, and a big up for being one of the mods as well. Shout out to all the mods in the chat doing the Lord's work. Says, I think Bruno goes to Saudi after the World Cup next year, and we commence the midfield rebuild properly. The time has come. Love you, Soloin. I like it. I get the reference. Thank you. And glory, Man United, glory, UV. I've said before, that's my prediction. My early prediction for next summer is the big midfield rebuild. I think, obviously, Casemiro, he goes, contract expires, they wave him off. And then I think Bruno to Saudi becomes a topic again. This time it becomes a lot more viable. You've helped Ruben for 18 months if he's still here. The World Cup's come and gone, so you don't have to worry about, I want to be settled as possible going into the World Cup. That's done. So you get, at the moment, Ruben Amorim's first choice midfield pairing, which is kind of wild, isn't it? That it's Bruno and Casemiro, but they're going to be gone, you think. If Bruno goes, then both of them will be gone next summer. And then you've got to get in, a brand new midfield to replace that. As Sho says there in the chat, you then talk about Ugarte. And if we are sticking to this 2 seasons, if you're not good enough, you're out, as we've seen with Højlund and Onana and hopefully more coming up in the future. If Ugarte continues how he's started the season, he might be on his way out as well. So there could be a lot of movement in the midfield next summer. So that's when you talk about Baleba, Adam Wharton, and maybe more. What happens with Cobby then? By that point, has he established himself, or has he got that kind of, I'll be fine? Because like I said, I think there's still a lot of football to come, isn't there? So we shall see. We shall see. A super chat here from Manny says, Bruno 2 more years. This is a 3-window rebuild with the investment to pay off in 27-28. Rebuild is around Bruno. January, we'll see 2 8s and a 6. We'll sign 2 8s and a 6 in January. That'll be a bit much. I don't think Ineos are building around Bruno. I don't think you build around was he 31 yesterday, wasn't he? I think Bruno, in terms of the plan, I think the Bruno plan was to obviously keep him for a couple of years, but then long term, I don't think that. A bit of breaking news, not related to Manchester United. It had been rumoured before, but it's now been confirmed by David Ornstein himself, saying Ange Postecoglou is to be confirmed as the Nottingham Forest head coach immediately after Nuno Espirito Santo departure. The 60-year-old Australian will lead Nottingham Forest for Saturday's trip to Arsenal, of all places, joined by a number of staff that he worked with at Tottenham Hotspur. So yes, he is on his way to Forest. Forest is such a bizarre club at this point. I mean, they really are. And I actually, when it comes to Forest, I obviously nothing but respect for their history. Brian Clough win the European Cup back to back. I do think they've got a really good fan base and real good support. But the way that they are run, and they must be at different points embarrassed by their owner. They have to be. They have to be, and whether it was, and look, Gary Neville talks a lot of shit, right? And I'm certainly not gonna be a big Gary Neville backer, because sometimes you do feel he's a bit compromised with some of the things that he says. But he called it out last season with when was it is his name Myriakis? Is that how you pronounce it? Forest owner, who is it? Marinakis. He's coming up on the pitch and getting in Nuno's face, and he said it was about the injured player, and then you get statements coming out directly from the owner, and he's very involved, isn't he? Very involved, and you feel like sometimes not in a good way. And if I was, I don't know, I mean, in terms of Ange Postecoglou, like, it's a great opportunity. They're in Europe. He had a shitty season last season, didn't he? In domestically, but won the Europa League. Always win something in the second season. They're in Europe. I mean, I suppose maybe there's a Greek connection there, isn't there? If you've ever heard of Ange Postecoglou's story about when they moved to Australia when he was younger and his father, it's actually a very inspiring story. I would really recommend. I think he's done a few interviews on it. So maybe it might just be maybe it's a bit of a cultural thing, right? Maybe it's a bit of a cultural thing. Maybe he and Marinakis and Andrew get on better. There's the stuff about, isn't there, Edu coming in and rubbing Nuno the wrong way. I just think you have to be very, very careful, don't you? When you're someone, and he's had the season that he had last year with Forest, and even before that, he came in, really helped stabilize them, and they're kind of falling into this. They're falling into this territory, aren't they? Whereby they were sort of saying they weren't happy with Nuno playing, pragmatic football. And when you fall into that territory of when we should be playing exciting football, we got to forget pragmatic football, all that, the other. Just ask like West Ham fans how it works out for them, because they're on that perpetual cycle of pragmatic, get up the league, and then they go, no, we're better than this. Get a flair manager, go back to the pragmatic one. So it'll be interesting to see how he implements that, because I mean Forest play with a back three, don't they? And they'd be going to Ange's 4-2-3-1 high line, all guns blazing. But I mean, what does their defense look like again, Forest? Because we saw last year what happens if Ange doesn't have the players to play his system. You finish 17th. But then I'd say about that Flair West Ham did just pump Forest 3-0, didn't they? They got some pace in there. The Nuno switch for 43-1. Maybe it'll work out. Who knows? But who would have thought? First manager to go. First manager to go in the Premier League season would have been Nuno. If you'd have said that at the end of last season, who's going to be the first manager to go? It's probably a lot of people would have said Amorim, honestly. And even as of a couple of weeks ago, they'd have probably still said Amorim, right? I'm sure there's probably a lot of odds makers and bookies and what have you that are probably quite happy this morning because they're like, shit, there was a lot of money coming in on Ruben being first to go, particularly after that Grimsby game. They thought, Ruben will be the first to go. It wasn't. It was Nuno. And it'll be interesting to see where Nuno goes next as well. Interesting. And that will also be the other thing, won't it? That will be interesting, because if the pressure, not that Nuno should ever be the manager of Manchester United. We saw what happened when he went to Spurs. But if Ruben has a couple of negative results, hey, you can go give it Nuno to the end of the season. Give it Nuno to the end of the season. Oh, God. No, it's fine. It's fine. Let's bring it back to some positivity, yes. Andre Onana, he's going to be having his medical on Thursday in Turkey. And Ruben Amorim seemingly was integral to this deal actually happening, which isn't really too much of a surprise. This comes from the Manchester Evening News, saying that Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim was central to the decision to sanction an exit for Andre Onana, per reports. The 29-year-old has been unable to displace Altay Bayındır in goal under Amorim this term, who in turn has committed a number of errors in United's opening 3 matches of the season. Continues by saying, while Onana's error-strewn outing against Grimsby is said to have triggered the move to land Senna Lomans as a priority, Amorim has different reasons for facilitating an exit altogether, with 2 key contributing factors. The 40-year-old Portuguese coach wants to avoid a circus surrounding the selection of his goalkeeper each week if Onana was to be named among the substitutes while Lomans plays, per Fabrizio Romano. He also says that Amorim had reservations over hanging on to 4 goalkeepers too. Tom Heaton is also in his squad, and anticipated issues rising over his decisions could only serve to increase the pressure on 23-year-old Lomans in his debut Premier League season. The move to the Super League could also provide benefit to Onana in Amorim's mind. The deal was agreed with the view of offering Onana the platform to star regularly in a bid to improving his confidence and form. I mean, whatever. As long as he's going, no problem. I mean, that's why I go like this whole, the Grimsby game. This is people used to say this last season after an Onana mistake, or even with like a negative result with, say, Amorim. And I never used to get this, but so if with Onana, he'd make a mistake against, just pick one last season. Anyone in the chat, I'll just pick an Onana mistake from last season. And whether it's the Forest one, was it Brighton one last season? What else was there? They're always there, aren't they? Right? Let's go with the Forest one. And then that would go in and go, that's it. I've finally had enough with Onana. That's it. And you go, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, he's been doing it for ages. there never was one moment where it was like, right, he's thrown it in the net for the 7th time now. That's one too far. I can take 6, but I can't take 7. I can't just. I never really got that. Never really got that with Onana. So I don't even really see it as, oh, the Grimsby game happened and then Amorim and co were like, he's got to go. No, or we've got to go get Senna Lomans. Surely that was been in their mind for a long time. We can't keep going on like this. We can't. Maybe actually Bayandier's performances, if anything, kind of triggered it off. Look, we know Onana shit, but actually Bayandier, he's not much. We can't go through a season like this. We just can't. We can't. So however they've come to the decision, however they've got there, it's the right one. Andre Onana is not good enough to be nobody. I mean, we don't even know about Senna Lomans at the moment. So nobody under contract, as we know of at the moment, he's good enough to be Manchester United's number 1. Here's hoping that Lomans is half decent. As I've said before, if Lomans is half decent, he's in. He's number 1. If he's just standard, claim crosses, make some decent saves, some shots go in, you go, well, maybe a better keeper saves that. He's still number 1. That's still more than enough for us, right? I don't even know how we'll be able to react if we have a goalkeeper that's good at claiming crosses, because even De Gea at his best wasn't good at claiming crosses. We saw the De Gea sort of come out and punch it. We haven't, since Edwin van der Sar, we haven't had a goalkeeper that's good at coming out, claiming crosses, from corners, set pieces. I mean, like a regular number 1 that was good at claiming crosses. And before people start going into, we had Lindegaard, he was tall. No, I'm talking regular, the de facto number 1. We haven't had it for years. So if Lomans can come in and do that, my goodness me, what a game changer. And that's, as it says it there, it's actually true, isn't it? There'll be a shot, save, you go, he caught it. Yep, he's good enough. He's good enough. Yep, he's done enough. That's the bar. That's the audition. Can you imagine? That'd be like going to an audition. You're auditioning for, I don't know, Batman. They go, what's your name before we start the audition? And you just go, well, my name's Owen. It's good enough for us. You're in. You're going to be the Cape Crusader. Lovely. Do you want me to do anything? You just talking and like not falling over in the process. That was what we needed. Or you talking when we said action. That was fine. We asked you a question. You spoke. 10-year contract, 10-movie deal. Can we do that? That's where we're at with Andre Onana, and our goalkeeping situation. Did you see the video of one of Onana's warm-ups with the goalkeeping coach, where they were sort of just doing like, it was like a game of Bring on the Wall. It was like, and then they would sort of put the ball near him. So he's doing these big sort of Schmeichel-esque sort of spreading himself. But you go, that doesn't really work in the game, does it, for you? I mean, if you were well known for doing that, I'd be like, fair enough. But you dive away or over the ball, or it still goes through your hands. I don't understand. But what I did think we could do this morning, I thought you guys would all enjoy this. UV Clips, if you haven't subscribed yet, you've got to. By law, you don't. But it'd be, I'd recommend it. They put together a bit of a chronology. They put together a bit of a chronology of KG That Comedian. KG That Comedian's, just timeline with Andre Onana. And this is why KG is, he will say that he's an honest guy. And he will openly state that he is a flip-flop. He is a flip-flop. And I think his relationship with Andre Onana is a really great example of how much of a flip-flop he is. And we have the evidence this morning to watch together. This will be a lot of fun.
Oh, na, 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 na. Oh, na, 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 na.
Onana's dead.
Oh.
Onana's dead. Onana's dead, bro. You're just dead. It could be the worst keeper we've ever signed. He's the worst keeper we've ever signed in this life.
But yes,
he is the worst keeper.
I tell you what, Rich says I wouldn't go that far. I would, Rich. You know what I mean? I would. And, you know, I know it was early days at that point and could say KG was being hyperbolic, but kind of right, wasn't it? You know, soothsayer.
In this life.
But yes,
he is the worst keeper we've ever signed.
Have you called him up?
No, I haven't called him up.
Are you going to call him
I
up?
would text
Would you take him
on
back?
a late night. You know them ones. You know he's
You're texting David De Gea at 2 a.m.
I was like, raw. Listen, is there way back in for me, David? There's no.
That is ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, I've just kind of thought that he goes from I will text David De Gea. I'm texting him. I'll text David De Gea. I'll get him back. Look at the glee in the next clip.
On a late night. You know them ones. You know he's.
You're texting David De Gea at 2 a.m.
I was like, raw. Listen, is there way back in for me, David? There's no way back in. Proper flip flop. But listen, I don't care. Shameless as it is, yeah.
You got Onana and Onana's. You know, I got an apology to make. Actually, I saw only.
That is I forgot about that as well. I forgot about that. But before the Galatasaray game, Galatasaray away, which was criminality on the highest level, both free kicks in that game, fumbles it in the net. Mere minutes before that happens, KG's apologizing to him.
Right, the time has come. We were wrong. I wanted to text David De Gea and be like, bro, what's good? Are you up? Marcel, you was right. I apologize.
Well, that's when he went wrong. He said Marcel was right as well. I mean, my goodness. And is he saying we? Is he saying we? Who's we? And let's go back.
The time has come. We were wrong.
We don't get us involved in this, KG. Don't bring us all in. Why are we doing this? What's this we? I only see you in this video. My goodness.
I wanted to text David De Gea and be like, bro, what's good? Are you up? Marcel, you was right. I apologize. The quality was there. You didn't panic.
We've signed Karius. That's who we've signed.
Oh. What is wrong with this guy, man? What is wrong with this guy? He's apologizing before the game. This guy's already done criminal behavior. Onana's already done criminal behavior. We're sorry, blah, blah, blah. 2 hours later, we signed Karius. Oh, my God.
The quality was there. You didn't panic.
We've signed Karius. That's who we've signed in.
We didn't panic. We didn't panic. We didn't panic. Cuts to 2 hours later, panicking.
The quality was there. You didn't panic.
We've signed Karius. That's who we've signed in there. It's Karius. That's it. We've got Karius in goal. Can this goalkeeper be the man? Like, how I feel right now, I'm like, no, he can't. Like, when the window opens, you have to look again.
Straight back from AFCON.
And I'm backing him flex.
You said you was done though.
I'm gonna give him to the end of the season. I know I said that I'm gonna give him
Look at that front three, by the way. Garnacho, Rashford, Højlund, all gone. Thank God. I mean, it's just as interesting, isn't it, sometimes to see this midfield as well. Midfield three: Bruno, Cobby, Casemiro. At midfield is pretty much the same, apart from Cobby don't play anymore. But front three. Oh, God. It's actually kind of like depressing to look at.
You said you was done though.
I'm gonna give him to the end of the season. I know I said that I'm gonna give him it. I'm gonna try my best. Absolutely not, bro.
What is imagine I'm gonna give him to the end of the season. You don't even give him to the end of the stream.
You said you was done though.
I'm gonna give him to the end of the season. I know I said that I'm gonna give him it. I'm gonna try my best. Absolutely not, bro. I'm out again. Bro, I'm done. I'm done. I'll put my hands up. I doubted Onana. I said,
You said you was done with him.
I said I was done with him. I said, get rid of him. I said, I'm done. End of season, sell him. That's how I was on. Yeah. What I'm seeing from Onana, yeah, today, I'm actually looking forward to apologizing. Sorry, On.
What is I'm looking forward to apologizing. KG, what kind of sort of simp behavior is this? Oh my God.
Onana, yeah. Today, I'm actually looking forward to apologizing. Sorry, Onana. I was
You're
too
no longer
soon.
done with him. You're no longer done with him.
I'm not done with him. I'm not done with him.
This guy. And look at this advert. That represents me. Look, optimized Owen. My goodness. My goodness. Guys, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Unbelievable. Do you know what? It gets worse every time you watch it. I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was that bad. To be honest, criminality in this fan base is very common. Wow. Let's have a look. Some are saying call him. All right, well, let's have a look. He might answer, he might not. Sometimes he's watching, sometimes he isn't. Let's see if I can find him on the list. KG, that comedian. Here we go.
Owen, United View.
Yes, KG, the comedian. You're live on United View.
What's going on?
Well, I got told by the chat to call you because I played a video on stream that I wanted to react to in real time. And it was a video on United View clips, and it kind of sort of showed your story with Andre Onana. And I wanted to come to you for comment.
I did it. Whatever happened in it, I did it. I probably was really excited about him, said I'm going to forgive him, hated him, decided to forgive him again, hated him, loved him again because I spoke to his family, and now I'm had enough.
I'm going to be honest, KG. Like it's bad in your head now when you're thinking, oh, I bet it's bad. It's worse than you think.
No, not really.
No, it is.
I can't surprise myself. No.
You would surprise yourself.
Is it extreme? Is extreme flip-flopping?
Yeah.
I can do that. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that anymore.
I mean, it's like...
that's the level with. I'm actually not surprised at being extreme flip-flop. It's who I am.
You start one stream. One stream and go, I'm apologizing. And you even said to Marcel, I don't know who this we is, but you go, we were wrong. And then 2 hours later, you go, we signed Karius. Then literally, like the next match, you start it off again going, right, I'm going to back him. I'm backing him to the end of the season. 90 minutes later, you go, I lied. I can't back him. I'm not going to back him.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
Yeah.
Well, at least, you know what the killer is, yeah? I have to just own it and know that I am a complete flip-flop.
Yeah.
I have to own this thing, right? And that's the one thing I'm going to take from Ruben. He's allowed me to accept I'm emotional and I will change. Some days I love this person, some days I hate them.
Yeah.
I think because I haven't got hair and I don't wear a Monclizzy, it doesn't hit the same. Like if I had hair and I was kind of like, from port to go and I said that, it feels like, oh wow, so profound. But because I sound like me, yeah.
You said it's an underbelly hair thing. It's an underbelly hair thing.
It's an underbelly hair thing. It's underbelly hair, an exotic thing. It doesn't hit the same. When he couldn't stop a flip flop, and everyone's like, "Oh, look, that's just so honest. He's just emotional." When I say I'm a flip flop, see, that's the problem. Aura farming, stream, engagement. Oh, you're trying to make money at the club. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just doesn't work the same.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to watch this video. I'm probably gonna cringe watching it, but then it is who I am.
Yeah, you will. I mean, I'm not even joking. I saw it the other day and I thought, oh, I'll watch that on the stream or whatever. And I forgot how bad it was. I forgot how bad it was.
Well, I'm going to be watching that on the way to the airport. That's going to be some fun. But then, was I right at any point? When I was angry, I was right in it.
Problem is, I think that the giving you credit for being right leaves very early in that video. Very early. Because they say like a broken clock's right twice a day. I mean, that clock is smashed. It's not even put into time anymore. Like it's. I don't know.
I tried to back him. You can't.
You can't know. You did. Yeah, you did.
I tried my hardest. Like I gave everything. I tried so hard to back this player. Usually, some people just give up on the talent. I'm like, He's African. I've got to try. But he's shit.
Yeah.
He's the shittest. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Even now I'm thinking of, and are these clips of when we're doing a match and I'm just mad as well?
Before a match,
worst part of me.
Before a match,
Oh,
some are in like Trinity. Some of them aren't even like
in the game.
Yeah, they're everything. I mean, the phrase at one point, it's halftime when we play Man City, and you say, "I'm looking forward to apologizing at the end of the game." How can you look forward? I'm like, KG, man, get off your knees. Like, what are you doing? I'm looking forward to apologizing to him later on. What?
Oh my God. Yeah. You know what? I can't apologize for who I am. Or just all the people in the chat. What do I say? Because I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to tell them, look, you're gonna get a better version of me next time. And I can't even say that. Like, even when we done yesterday's show and we done that thing, remember when we were saying how we got the minerals?
Yeah.
I just wanted to see what the chat was saying. You caught onto the shit real quick.
Yeah.
You were like, everyone here is saying rubbish.
Yeah.
Flex is giving it.
Yeah, that's when Flex was like, no, people will be fine. I'm like, no, they won't. No, they won't. Of course they won't. I mean, if we lose both of those games, we go crazy.
Yeah.
If we win them, oh my God, we haven't won back. Reuben hasn't won back-to-back Prem games. Because that'll be 3 in a row. 3. We'd lose our mind.
Do you care that I'm gonna be in another country when the derby's on?
I've heard about it. I'm trying to come to terms with it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No problems.
Yeah.
No problems. If my internet's good, I'm gonna jump in the stream.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna test it when I get to my hotel, and then I'll shout you so you'll know.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting, KG. It says, "Ooh, I've got to press the button. Oh, I've pressed the button."
Breaking
No,
news.
not break. This isn't good, KG. They're saying Onana might be having reservations.
No! No! What do you mean? Why would you say that?
Because the chat told me to, and it's not true. You've been pranked.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Oh, that's out of order, you cunts. Sorry I had to use the word like that this early in the morning. But no, because I thought he said the paperwork was sealed and signed. And I was like, the Britio lied to me.
No.
I was going to be so fuming.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not funny, man. I'm packing.
I don't feel comfortable because I don't even like joking about it. You know, it's one of those ones where it's like the chat was saying like prank KG, and I was like, I don't really even want to put it out there.
See that, and you know that no was from my spirit, boy. That no was. I wasn't even able to act that no. Good,
yeah, you sounded like you just found out about Padme. You proper went no.
Yeah. Oh man, listen, bro. Have a good one. I can't apologize for who I am.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. To all the people in the chat disappointed in me, I'm gonna do it again.
You can do it again.
So yeah. Let's have a good season, everybody.
Yeah, right. Nice one. Speak to you later.
See you later.
It's KG the comedian. That's what it is. You know, like he says, he's not going to change, and nor should he. Well, he probably should. He should try and work on himself. It's never wrong to work on yourself a little bit, just a little bit. It's fine. Super Arch says this needs to be in the book of accountability. Yeah, there needs to be. I was going to say like a separate chapter, but I'm thinking maybe there just needs to be another book, doesn't there? There's a book of accountability. And then there's the Book of Accountability KG edition. That's probably what needs to be, just a separate book. And the Book of Accountability is that little red book that's like, what, about that thick? And the Book of Accountability KG edition needs to be like one of those old school dictionaries from like the 1900s. That's like, boom, and turn over like that. And it's like that thick. And you go, my goodness. And then the pages are like paper, like thinner than normal paper. Like, or like that scene from Bruce Almighty when he pulls out the filing cabinet and it just keeps going. It's all the way back. That's what it needs to be. So, yeah, I tell you what, KG, you can have that one as well. I remember I named Kev Coins. And now we're talking about the Book of Accountability and then Book of Accountability KG edition. That's what you need to do. Yeah, that's what it needs to be. So, So just saying. We're 4 likes away from 300 likes. If you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. What's on tap for the rest of the day? What day is it? It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. So that means that the Flex and KG show is going to be coming up this evening, 7 p.m. So you can tell KG. Oh, actually, he says going to the airport. Is he flying out today then? This is one of those ones which I don't know about. So there should be a Flex and KG show. I don't know if there will be. There should be at 7 p.m. But he did just say, this is how these things work, folks. There'll be a sly comment which will be go to the airport, and you go, okay, wait. So that means today. So watch this space when it comes to the Flex and KG show. I'm not going to promise anything. I don't want to falsely advertise that one. Yes. And then if anything else happens in between, of course, we'll be here to let you know. Amanor with the super chat says Amorim has enabled for KG to be to be fair, that's not an Amorim. KG has been a flip-flop long before Ruben Amorim. Yeah, and maybe he's made it easier, but yeah. I don't know if that one's on Amorim. But yes, if anything else happens today, we will be here. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe. More content coming soon. Have a good morning, and I'll speak again soon. I'm out of here. Peace.